When feelings rewrite reality, hello. I am Dr. K. Paul Stoller. There's a moment in some relationships where nothing catastrophic actually happens other than, for example, perimenopause. But this rewrite can happen long before perimenopause because it is a defense mechanism the ego uses to make you feel comfortable with a decision not based on reality. Consider this precaution for those who have not had this experience or walked down memory lane for all other men, so everything begins to change.
No betrayal, no screaming, no obvious collapse, just a subtle shift where fear quietly replaces trust, and feelings begin rewriting reality. Modern culture teaches people something dangerous, that relationships survive on feelings alone. If the feelings remain, the love is real.
And if the feelings fade, something must be wrong. But relationships were never built on emotion alone. What creates attachment in long-term relationships is not simply love, but predictability with goodwill. The nervous system relaxes when it learns, repeatedly, that the other person is emotionally safe, reliable, and acting in the interest of the bond rather than merely their temporary emotional state. On trust accumulated quietly over years, and trust is not tested when life feels easy. Trust is tested
when fear enters the room. Because fear does something strange to the human mind. It alters interpretation. A partner who once felt safe
can suddenly feel controlling. Stability can begin to feel like confinement. Predictability can feel emotionally dead. Commitment can feel like entrapment. Not because reality changed, but because perception did.
And this is one of the most destructive forces in modern relationships. Feelings are real, but they are not always reliable narrators. A temporary emotional state can suddenly outweigh 10 years of consistency. A moment of anxiety can rewrite an entire history of love. Our decisions are made either out of fear or love. But when they are made from fear, the decision will always be the wrong decision, because fear is not the operational paradigm on our planet. But we like to learn the hard way. Most relationship collapses do not begin with hatred. They begin with unexamined fear, fear of missing out, fear of aging, fear of vulnerability, fear of dependence, fear that somewhere else, someone else, some other life might feel more emotionally alive. And modern culture often tells people, if you feel it, trust it, follow your heart. But emotions are weather systems. Some pass in hours, some in months. Very few should be allowed to make irreversible decisions without deep examination. The paradox is this: the very things that create long-term safety in a relationship, routine, reliability, stability, can also reduce emotional intensity.
And many people confuse the loss of intensity with the loss of love itself. But calmness is not the absence of love. Sometimes it is the highest form of it.
A relationship cannot survive if every emotional fluctuation is treated as ultimate truth, because feelings are influenced by exhaustion, stress, hormones, social pressure, unresolved trauma, and fear. Mature love requires something modern culture rarely teaches: the ability to pause and question your own perception, to ask, is this feeling revealing reality or rewriting it? That single question could save countless relationships, because once fear becomes the interpreter of reality, promises become fragile. Loyalty becomes invisible, stability becomes suspicious, and people begin destroying the very things they once prayed to find. And the tragedy is that many only understand this afterward, after the silence, after the collapse, after the person who loved them is gone. Only then do they realize that not every feeling was wisdom. Some were simply fear,
left unquestioned long enough to become destiny.